Airlie Center in Warrenton, Virginia was founded as an oasis for learning and discussion, a place that its founder, Dr. Murdoch Head, hoped to be a place for knowledge. It is in this vein Dr. Head founded a documentary studio, Airlie Productions. Beginning in the early 1960s, Dr. Murdoch Head began to produce educational documentaries, often in conjunction with government support and assistance from George Washington University. These documentaries took a hard, factual look at subjects ranging from drug abuse in America, heart attacks, abortion, and environmental pollution, proving that in many ways, Airlie Productions was ahead of its time.
One of the reasons why educators and corporations and government alike all turned to documentary is that it has two attributes that are very compelling. First of all, it makes a claim that this is all reliable, truthful information. Second, it's crafted in a way to keep your attention and keep you interested. So it's a highly crafted artifact that also makes a legitimate claim to be giving you information about something that's real.
Airlie Productions produced hundreds of documentaries over its 20-year run. With documentary hits like The Saving of the President and The Distant Drummer, Airlie Productions educated the American public from the television screen. The production studio earned 13 Emmy Awards. The films about serious issues of the day forwarded Dr. Head's vision of Airlie into the homes of the American public.
I think documentaries have a reputation for telling truth to power. Many of the Airlie documentaries implicitly did that by confronting important social issues, giving people both information and experiential learning about those important issues. But if you look at the market for documentaries, it's actually pretty hard to get a documentary that is about a controversial issue before the American public. It is certainly on a national level. In mainstream media.
I immediately moved to the president and with my left hand grabbed his left shoulder, my right hand went around his waist, and I just drove him down. I went on top of him and into the car. Ray Shattuck, my second in command, threw my feet in the president's feet in the car and slammed the door. Now, told the driver, Drew Unruh, to move out.
The film, The Saving of the President, recreates the events occurring immediately after the attempted assassination of President Ronald Reagan. With Reagan playing himself, it illustrates the surgery that saved his life, using the doctor's first-hand accounts as reference. The half-hour-long documentary was aired on ABC for the first time on April 1, 1982, and earned 4 Emmy Awards. It reached millions of viewers in the American home.
But that kind of cinema verite is now so common that we don't even think of it as a style. We see it in reality shows, we see it in commercials, we see it in many, many kinds of documentaries, and we just think that's normal, but it was revolutionary in the 1960s when it began.
I feel that I was very lucky. Very lucky that we went where we went and when we did, and but I am grateful to all of you.
Thousands of snapshots on police station walls remain the only link between many of America's most affluent families and the children who embodied their expectations.
Distant Drummer, a 4-part series produced in the 1970s, was made with the intent to serve as a warning to the American public about the increased use of drugs during the 1960s. It discusses the counterculture movement of the 60s and the amount of marijuana usage at that time. While the first film of the series starts with illicit drugs, the second film includes the usage of cigarettes, alcohol, over-the-counter prescriptions, and more. The third film focuses on addiction and other experiences associated with the drugs, while the fourth and final film ends by discussing the selling and addiction of heroin.
Nearly everyone in the hippie community smokes marijuana, whether they call it pot, grass, hemp, joint, gauge, or Mary Jane. The marijuana is the basic background for the shared drug experience.
So there's no cable, there's no streaming, and they all have their own in-house producers, and they don't take outside work. So it's extremely unusual and shows the high level, not only the quality, but the connections of the people at Airlie House to be able to have the people at the networks accept that work. It's a very compelling way to communicate with people.
Airlie Productions educated the American public in a way that hadn't been done before. Even today, we can see the effect Airlie Productions has had on educational documentaries. The time is now to revisit the island of thought that Airlie was and is. Dr. Head dreamed of using media to educate, to share ideas, people, and places with the world. And today, this dream is still viable through documentaries. Airlie Productions, in many ways, was ahead of its time. But now, we all see just how much there is to learn.
Documentary filmmaking is a powerful tool for sharing both stories and knowledge. Dr. Head saw this potential years ahead of the rest of the world. He created Airlie Productions to extend the Airlie Center beyond a single island of thought and into an entire world of thought. Thank you for watching.